roundtable is, professionals in the real estate industry is more about business, but it's also trying to help the generation coming, and also to ensure that as much as possible, some of those stories we think are just normal to us, we don't realize that it does a lot for others. So it's basically just impact, vulnerable conversation.
It's very interesting that the project is very close to completion, but even before they see the final product, people put their hard-earned money down. How do you manage to convince them from a commercial point of view? How do they buy into what they haven't seen come out?
Because of how we've been in the business for a while, we've understood that we need to be in the minds of those that want to buy. I won't tell you we started by knowing anybody that was going to be there. We didn't know one person. But what we did was to research a lot about the area. There were malls around. What are people looking out for? So just let them understand that, look, we are doing a mall. It's going to be one of a kind. These are the kind of spaces we have. People are going to rent it at this rate. These are the analysis, this is the data that suggests it. This location is going to help you to do this. So by the time you have those facts, then you have a good design, and then you also have good implementation. So most people started by saying, if you guys are going to do this way, then I will buy into it.
Architect Jide Adekola, GMD, Homework Group, thanks for talking to us. And congratulations on delivering the Almond 4. The last time we spoke, just to catch up, a lot was going on in the country, FX regime, the normal challenges and issues, but you've managed to seal, sign and deliver Almond 4 in spite of all the challenges. Could you walk us through the journey? How did it go?
Thanks, Benga. So basically, it's not been an easy journey. Why is particular to me is that I think last year or upper year, we just delivered one of our projects in Victoria Garden City, and most of the other projects were kind of like stalling because it just delved into the entire forex fluctuation issue and inflation. So basically, it was just crazy. And the problem with that was it was multiple, because you can't even have a conversation with your buyers because it was increasing probably every day or every week.
So you couldn't tell them.
You didn't even know where to start the conversation. So you were just trying to have that sort of, let's see how things go, just the way COVID was, and you don't know what's going to happen, when are you going to open. So it was really tough. But like they always say, it's mostly situations like that make you, brings the best out of you. I'll tell you one of the things it did. We used to be a company that just, we're very empathic, and we're thinking about how the client or how they feel, don't charge variation. When the person has defaulted on his first payment, you can just call them up. I learned a lot from this, that you need to send those letters in regardless. Look, you've defaulted.
You're a business.
Yes, it's a business. That's what it taught me, And at the end of the day, a lot of people take you for granted. We lose a lot of money on the table. We realize that if we're building and we're selling at the end, we're making times 4, times 3 of whatever it is we were building. So basically, for people like that, we've realized that as a company, we never used to really send them those letters. And we now know that as a business, it's important to do that, right? But at the same time, we now had to have those difficult conversations. Started probably like January this year. Try to call people in, even friends that are bought. It's very tough for you to your own guy, even though it's easy to tell your guy.
They understand what's going on.
Oh yes. And in fact, what I realized is that 80% of the people probably are just waiting for the conversation. We understand. There are a lot of people that put up a fight, but at the end of the day, even those that put up a fight have come all the way back. I've seen court cases, I've seen so many things, but they've all come back to that negotiation table, because we realized that if we did not do anything about it, we would have lost across projects probably about 1.7 billion naira. And that's when you had to make that decision.
So how does it feel when you hand over the keys on the day of when you give the keys to the clients? How do you feel as person? I'm sure it's like a huge boulder off your
Yeah,
shoulder.
yeah. I think, I mean, maybe not more of the, yes. I mean, there's the part of the stress going off your neck, but I think particularly for this one, stemming from all that issue, it was very nice to know that we have started to deliver, and we actually had it as a plan to ensure that of all the projects we have on, we should have a back-to-back. So that's what we're going to enjoy this year. There's going to be back-to-back delivery. Probably every quarter you have about 2 or 3 being delivered. You know, that's going to be like a huge, even for the brand and all of that. But for me, generally, it's always very good to know that what you have designed has been completed and the people can move in and they're happy. One good thing about Amon 4 in particular, there's 16 units of 2 beds, is that every single person that bought, some of them are from Canada, some of them are from the UK, even the landowners, they rushed them in terms of the tenancies, and they paid what even surprised me, because in that area they're paying about 6 million, 6.5 million for rent for a 2 bed. And you know, you could hear people come in and say, wow, he has a gym. Oh, I like the gym. I like this. I like what they did there, you know. So it just gives me that
I mean,
joy
the
to know
offerings are
that,
different.
yes,
and
different parking
it allows
space.
them to charge
Yes,
a bit
parking
more
space. So
than
in fact,
rents.
at a point,
Yes.
I know somebody that wanted to pay for using it as an Airbnb, gave them about 5.5 million, and then we now started having different tenants fighting over it and increasing it, like as if they are bidding. So somebody came 6 million, 6.5, 7 million.
That's
I'm
what
like, what?
happens
I'm like,
when
what's
you have
this?
a good product.
Exactly. So to know that all 16, no exception, all 16 were paid for, and if you do the math, 16 by 6 million, I mean that's some good money.
I mean, it's encouraging, and that's what drives you and your team to keep striving and more projects. But let's talk about the specifics of Almond 4 of the Almond series. It's
Yeah.
become somewhat sort of iconic in your portfolio. What's the story behind Almond 4, and what did you have in mind when designing Almond 4?
Okay, so the Amon 4 series, like you said, is what we try to do with the series is to create a particular design and just try and tweak that design in different ways, you know. But this is basically supposed to depict a spacious, particular design using the courtyard system where you're also having cross ventilation and the hot air going up, the cold air coming in. You know, you're having the courtyard system, also having very spacious living room, open plan kitchen, you know, and the bedrooms are, you know, high
How
headrooms
did
and
you
all
manage
that.
to achieve that? I noticed in Almond 4, the compound is very spacious. They have
Yeah.
a lot of parking, and then the building itself
Yeah.
still has, I mean, like you said, the living room is
Yeah,
quite
so that
spacious.
basically what we try to do is, first of all, from the design point of view, we always try to look at all those elements. So we realize that it's a corner piece land. It had a lot of space, so even by virtue of the setbacks on the front and the side as a corner piece, you already have a lot of space you can't build on. So unlike other Almond series, you park under, you have a smaller lot and you have to park under the entire building. But in this case, we could bring real estate into the ground floor because we had a lot more. That's why it's 16. So ideally that would have just been just 12 units. But because the parking could take it, because clearly you must have a road setback on both sides and it's taken out of that space. So that's what created the space somewhat, you know. So the design itself was just done in such a way that it's very clean, very simple, right? But is very functional, and it allows even the middle units have some kind of cross ventilation, because the typical issues you have with developments that are raked together like that is that you don't have that cross ventilation for the units in the middle. But what we've been able to do is to create a courtyard system where you still have it, so you don't even have a difference between the corner unit and the units at the center. So it just has that bright, large windows, air moving in and out.
Eco-friendly.
Exactly, eco-friendly.
Now, Jide, you wear two hats, architect, developer. What did you, are there any standouts, architectural features or innovations in Almond 4 that you're particularly proud of? I'm asking from a layman's perspective because I noticed this. People might just think this black thing that they might think is just aesthetics, but I'm sure it does have.
So everything has its own. Every element of the building has been was already picked from. So basically, we didn't want a staircase. We wanted a staircase that seemed like you were outside. First of all, let me start by saying this. So you have 16 units. We didn't want one core where all 16 units come from one staircase shaft. So in this case, what you really have here is you actually have 8 units. I dare say not even the 8 units, because all the ground floor units don't go from the staircase. So basically, they are on their own. So we've separated this building into 3 in terms of circulation. So on the ground floor, you just have the guys park and enter their apartment. So that's one. They don't need to see every other person. Then
How many units do you have on the ground floor?
just 4 units.
Yes.
Then on the other levels, one staircase shaft just answers to just 6 units. So basically, that staircase shaft has 6 neighbors. So it's basically you might as well have done 2 different blocks of 6 units, because what you have is you have that 6 units. So the guys on one set of 6 units have no business on the other side. So it helps with circulation. Imagine everybody leaving in the morning, or you're all meeting yourselves and jamming yourselves. So that circulation just helps to just separate it, and everybody has their own. Exactly. So basically, that's how. So apart from that, we knew that we had the corner piece feature. So we knew we could play with. We knew that there was going to be distance to other buildings, so there was going to be a lot of air, there was going to be a lot of ventilation and all that. So like I said, that's how we introduced the courtyard system. We also introduced it so that the kitchens can have some kind of back window. They have their gas cylinders at the courtyard, so that just helps them with protection, services and all that. And one of the things that also the design also helps with is, apart from the fact that we have all en suite and all that, it just secludes the 2-bed section to the back. That's the bedroom section to the back, and then the living room and dining section in front. And in some cases, it's even bigger than your 3-bedroom living room and dining space. So that's what really helps them. Yeah. Yes, it's also a veranda for them. So they have a whole backyard where we put in all the facilities, put in the gym and all that, and so basically just gives them that free space for parking. And he came in a community that, I mean, this was something that when we started, it was actually the land that belonged to the actual indigenous, and who you call Omonile. And there were like 5 kids. They didn't know what to do with the place. The regular guys that run around and collect money from you and, harass you for stuff. And we met them and said, look, you guys can make something out of this. You can't just have these bungalows here. So I wish I had a picture of what it was before. And imagine this 5.
They have units.
Oh, yes. They have 7 units. So they sold 2. They sold 2 and they rented 5. Oh, yes.
So they're very thankful.
Yeah, so
they would never have thought.
No. So maybe they would have sold the land,
yes,
and then walked away with the money. Yes, but this is probably times, because they were able to still sell 2 units as high as, I think, 70 million each. So they shared 140 million naira. No, 75 million. So they shared 150 million naira. I think they're selling one more, and then they all rented out for 6 million. So basically, they have rental income, and they're able to. They have assets, and for people to have rushed it, and I was asking, do you have any units left? So no, we don't have any more. So it just shows you. I mean, that brings joy to first of all know that something
empowerment.
Yeah, something that you just put in as an idea now settled all these people. At the point I had it, I did not know who was going to buy. But now we know we have the buyers. The buyers have also rented. There are people that live in Canada. There are people that live in the UK, so they are all happy. I think they all did testimonials freely to just help to push. But for me, it's even the time and the season in which we're able to push this through. So for me, it's even against all odds, ensuring that you just have something completed, and it was nice to have exactly from an idea to fruition.
Now let's talk about, you sort of mentioned it, let's talk about sustainability.
Yeah.
As more buyers are looking for eco-friendly, eco-conscious homes, how have you approached sustainability in this development, whether in materials, energy systems, or design flow?
Okay. Yeah. So I think the first thing is even from the design itself. Some people always think that sustainability and efficiency starts with you spending money, and it's not really the case. You always think solar panels, or you're trying to put one technology, you're trying to put one innovation in. Sometimes it just starts from the design. Large windows, because that helps with the air, reduces how much you use air condition.
when we're in the tropics.
Exactly.
You would think
In fact, this
most
particular development, in
Yes.
fact, there's a theme behind Amon 4. It's called Nature View Estate. And the reason behind it is that we are literally just beside the conservation center. So basically, you don't have buildings there, you just have green.
There's a lot of green.
Yeah, so you're gonna enjoy that, sort of fresh air and proper direct, what's it called, with the plants and the trees and all of that. In fact, I think sometimes the monkeys kind of like come around from there. But the whole idea behind it is taking advantage of that and making sure that you have that airflow through the building. So if you do not need to use power, you can actually just pull up your windows and you have the fresh air coming in. Secondly, one very key element is in the materials being used so that you can, as much as possible, keep in the cool when it's cold or when you're trying to keep the place cool, it stays cool, and then the heat doesn't come in that much. If you have too much glass and all that, you have that much heat and you have to now generate more power to be able to take that up. So basically, I think we concentrated more on that, the large windows, the high headrooms. The major part of it is the courtyard, because the courtyard system always just helps you to suck. When you say cross ventilation, it's not necessarily two adjacent windows. It's actually something that sucks in the air to come into the house and just keep on continuing with that flow. And this is just natural flow of both light and so again, you don't have any dark spaces. So that's also key, because you can keep that place without power till like late in the evening, because you're still gonna have it lit up and bright. Because you have some places where you have less light, so you always have to put on the light, including the staircases. So that's part of why you have those fins at the staircase. Again, we're trying to look at a system where the courtyard can actually collect water, so that you can use that for things like car wash and all that. Maybe flushing the toilet, maybe not for drinking, but at least collect rainwater. And that's what the courtyard system is also helping with. Yes, you can't do 100% without the alternative power, but it's also how we can reduce it and not use so much. That's what we're trying to think of, and we're trying to just move gradually, because even if we move, we need the customers to be able to start to understand that culture. And you can imagine me finishing it and they say they are not renting because there's no power. So, we also have to just balance that. But I'm just trying to say that in your own way, you can try to bring in certain elements of sustainability in without necessarily spending money. But one important thing that we also did there, which we normally do with some of the projects, is that we now have to bring in the infrastructure outside. So we had to do the road. Yes, the transformer, independent transformer that could be shared with others. But most importantly, the main access road, we had to do the gutters and pave the road, not only for ourselves but probably for a whole street.
Was it a community effort?
No. We just have to take it on.
It's part of CSR.
Yes, because if we say we're waiting for them, then there's a hospital in front of us. They tried to talk to a couple of them. They joined themselves into a group, asked for contributions. Some were paying, some were not. I just told my guys, there's no point. Just take it from the main road and hit the, what's it called? It's beneficial to everybody. If everybody can do their own bits,
it makes it better. Like little details like that adds to the its positioning in the market and competitiveness. And this brings me to my last question on Almond 4 before we move on. With the competitive residential landscape in Lagos, what makes Almond 4 a standout option for investors and homeowners?
Yeah, so pretty much it's just like we spoke about the Almond series, because obviously Almond 4 is sold out, and you have 3 that's coming right behind, probably in another month. You have 2 that is also coming right behind. 1 is completed. You have 4, you have 5, you have 6. So basically, the whole idea of that style is to try and bring in some of what you see outside the country, something that is a lot more hippie and nice to have, modern for those that are those that like it. The moment they walk in, they just like the space. So basically, we're trying to, and then understanding that 2-bed is now a major factor. It's something that you cannot run away from. A lot more people like to now buy 2-bed and 1-bed apartments. So basically, it's really in the market for what it is. But most importantly, the Almond series is a certain price bracket in a certain area. That's how we picked the names.
Yeah.
So basically, this is like your Chevron, Chevron, around Chevron Orchard Road area, we have these sort of developments, same design all around the area. So when you pass and you just see it, oh, that's a home opera, even without seeing our logo and all, that's a home opera project, or it's one of their series, so to speak. So it's just for them to just identify it, and because it was so successful and very functional, we just felt we should just do a lot more. I think the Almond 6 will be the last of the kind, and we'll probably move to another series.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very excited about this project we're about to talk about, Marvin Mall. I know Homework Group has done commercial projects in the past, but not on this scale. I mean, let's start with the big picture. What was the original inspiration behind Marvin Mall?
Okay. So I think Marvin Mall, firstly, we had done something at Adeno Ogunsoya about a year before then, and we saw the difference in commercial real estate. It's more grand, but it's less trouble in terms of
Dealing with
with residential. You have a lot of plumbing and electrical.
okay.
For this one, the plumbing is stacked in one place.
Centralized.
Yes, you spend more money on things like the Aluco bond, the lifts, but it's one off, the ACs and all that. But we realize it's different. There's a sweet spot with a small space that's just 30 square meters can be sold or even leased as quick as possible. So we just said, look, why don't we try to do something more grand in a very...
But location.
Yes,
is
I was
very
about to
key.
go there. So it has to be in a very, very, very strategic location. So when the opportunity for Marvin Mall came in, we were fast to go on it because we had a lot of analysis about how some of the commercial spaces around that area were doing better there than other parts of Lekki Phase 1. And then even Lekki Phase 1 as it is had already started becoming a full commercial hub as compared to even VI. So a lot has shifted from VI,
yes.
Victoria Island, into Lekki Phase 1, a lot of activities and all that. So it was a very good time and a very good place to just place it. And, having a grand 6th-floor building, was major. It was audacious because, we had looked at a lot of things that, the kind of cost it would be and so many things that were new in the territory for us. But it was what that, we try to just always break glass ceiling. So the idea was, how can we try as much as possible to just nurture this through, starting with a nice design that will stand out and then trying as much as possible to see how we can see it through to the end.
I mean, it will definitely stand out in its location. There's nothing close to it there. And Marvin Mall seems to go beyond just retail. Are you thinking of it as more of a lifestyle destination, more or a bit more than a traditional shopping center? And how are you designing the experience for the modern urban consumer, families, young professionals, or even digital natives?
So we looked a lot at what's happening with commercial spaces now. We looked at the hippie restaurants. We looked at the way it's been designed, rustic, very, very, very particular about certain things, and you could see that design change happening. So what we decided to do was, how can we not just create a block of offices or a block of shops, So that's why and then the fact that it's going on multiple floors, how do you create the visual and sort of that thing that will make you pick a third floor, pick a fourth floor. So we created
personality.
so we created a courtyard on the second floor because we have people pick the ground and first floor for their commercial spaces. So we said, okay, let's do something on the third floor, on the second floor rather, that will make people want to come to that second floor. So we created a courtyard that ends at the second floor that has a skylight. And the idea behind the skylight was to ensure that you are also getting that presence from there. Yes, as you scale up, you can go to more office-like spaces, but because you have lifts, which is why we created two normal passenger lifts and one goods lift at the back. So the idea was just to ensure that to get there is not a problem. If you want to park your car and quickly get something, you can actually park your car, get into the lift and quickly get something. And if you even needed to do an office, you could do the new designs, co-working space design. So even the mall in itself has, on every floor as you get down, there's some kind of mural on the wall, painted, graffiti. So you just have this sort of today's trend kind of mall, so it's not just rigid and structure. So people it's a place you would you want to be at. You want to take pictures, particularly at the courtyard. The courtyard is really nice. You want to take pictures there. You want to show that I came here, sort of thing. So we wanted to make sure that as much as possible, it's a destination where you're thinking outside the box. It's not just about the commercial space that it is, but it's also a space you want to come to. And by the time you attract people that way, it makes more sense. You can use it for things like the courtyard can be used for things like a small mini fashion show, or it could be used for some kind of exhibition, fashion exhibition, or whatever sort of exhibition you'll have wanted to do, so that it just has that full destination. Clearly, we are also having a co-working space there on the 5th floor. So the idea, homework, yes. So it's going to be called Homework Station
to cater for the public.
Yes, cater for the public. So we will be having. I mean, it'll be different because it's going to be tied towards media. So if you want to come there and do a podcast like this, or you want to do your shooting, or you want to be able to, Instagram, you want to do any form of it, because he's going to have different pods where you can use it for what you want to do.
If I'm not mistaken, it's not covered.
No. The 5th floor is covered. The above the 5th floor is where you have the pent floor. Where you have, I think there are 2 restaurants that are going to be there. So basically, they're already doing up the restaurants as we speak. Again, you don't know these people until you've designed. When you design, I see everybody coming in. So right now, we already have a laundromat. We have a very high class barbing and saloon. We have a high class boutique as well. We have a pharmacy. We have a spa. So these are people that have already come in.
You just preempted my next question, which is tenant mix.
Okay.
It really shapes the mall's personality from what you've said. What's your vision for the types of brands or businesses that will define Marvin Mall? You mentioned some. Which other ones would you? I feel it's already complete. You already have
so we were already particular about it from the beginning. Trying not to. I mean, there's healthy competition, right? If we want a healthy competition, but there are some that we didn't even want the competition at all. I mean, there's no point having 2 laundromats there. For the pharmacy, that could be healthy competition, but I mean, still, it's still one pharmacy. For the spa and wellness is only one. There's an office that has a whole floor, and they just love to be in the middle of all of this.
They got
the whole floor. Yes, so they basically
That's very
made it
bold
a full.
of them.
Oh yes, I mean bold, but they're also lucky to be in Marvin, because for me it's almost like it's exclusive for them. Particularly depending on what they do, they might actually also get business directly from stuff like that. Yes,
people that come.
Yes, I think the co-working space too will help as well. It has a juice bar, so the whole idea is you can come all the way to the 5th floor, just chill, do your podcast, do anything that you want to do media-wise, or just come and just have an office meeting and all that. And like I said, it's so central that it helps to. Those are the kind of places you can actually call for a meeting there and all that. We have underground.
Everybody knows where it is.
Exactly. So you can't miss it.
Very central. Now, retail is changing fast, especially with the e-commerce and on the rise. How are you future-proofing Marvin Mall to stay relevant in the evolving landscape? Are there tech-driven features, flexible retail formats, or digital integrations that can help bridge online and offline experiences? Or, I mean, the demand is there. We're not there yet as a country to start thinking that maybe people would, because of the rise of e-commerce, like cinema culture, people hardly go to cinemas these days. It's slowly dying. But how do you future-proof, like I said, the future-proofing Marvin Mall to stay relevant in this evolving landscape?
So I think even from the way, there are things you can't run away from, like a salon. So, whatever you do, you're still going to have to come for it, come to salon. So basically the idea is, but we've seen a lot of requests for smaller spaces where they can aggregate whatever it is they are doing and supply. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you must come to their shop if you don't have to. So I've seen a lot. In fact, I have a Chinese restaurant that is just taking the 25 square meters, not because of anything, but they just want to deliver. They're not there to, they're just there for operation. So basically, even if you had an eatery that was doing delivery and it was totally e-commerce, they need to prepare somewhere. You understand? They need to cook the food somewhere. They need to, not that we have that there, but you need to cook the food somewhere.
yes.
So the same thing goes for like the laundry service. So some of them are having all that pickup. So one of the things we try to do is to make sure you have that bike sort of stand where they park, so that you have those guys, Glovo and the likes, coming in, picking up, dropping off, and that's really what's happening in Lekki, is the convenience. So basically proximity to where you are, so that you can get your stuff as quick as possible. So imagine a laundromat saying, oh, our guys are coming to your house to pick up the clothes, and then you're going to get it in 24 hours, you're going to get it in 6 days, you're going to get it in 5 days. So basically, it's that friendly. So basically, with your ramps and your lifts and all of that, we're making circulation easy, so that you don't have to look at it and say, oh, I'm going to go up all these 5 floors because of this, but we're also trying to make sure we integrate enough to ensure that those stores, what those stores need to be able to do what they need to do e-commerce wise, they can do it. So basically that's pretty much what we've tried to do. And then you're looking at how people request for the spaces. Even the guys doing the boutiques and all.
I mean, it's very interesting that the project is very close to completion, but even before they see the final product, people put their hard-earned money down. How do you manage to convince them from a commercial point of view? How do they buy into what they haven't seen
Come on.
completed?
Yeah. So I think firstly, because of how we've been in the business for a while, we've understood that we need to be in the minds of those that want to buy. So, I won't tell you we started by knowing anybody that was going to be there. We didn't know one person. But what we did was to research a lot about the area. There were malls around. What are people looking out for? First of all, the initial investors might not want to use the stores. They might just want to rent it. So if you have that first set of people you need to sell to. So just let them understand that, look, we are doing a mall. It's going to be one of a kind. These are the kind of spaces we have. People are going to rent it at this rate. These are the analysis. This is the data that suggests it. This location is going to help you to do this. So by the time you have those facts, then you have a good design,
yes,
and then you also have good implementation. So most people started by saying, if you guys are going to do this way, then I will buy into it. So basically, by the time they see the structure, they see how we do it, they see the implementation and how it's being built, they were willing to come in. But what I like about it, just like I spoke about some of the other projects, is that before you even get to the end, you're now seeing the tenants, which we have no hold over. I was not looking for a tenant. I was looking for the person to buy. So you can imagine the buyers now already have their tenants coming in and rushing and saying, I want to pay down now, whatever, towards the end. Because towards the end, most of those that are coming in, we want to design it to suit them. Just imagine a spa and salon. The person will want certain things to be in certain places.
So
which
you
we are not
had
planned
some tenants during the design process?
Oh, yes. Currently,
Yes.
I think 80% of the space in Malvin has already been leased.
So they could do their own thing.
Oh, yes. So it was
their own
flexible
taste.
enough. We knew from the
Fantastic.
beginning. We had a lot of insights from, our facility management partners, our people that have done such commercial spaces before, to say, look, be flexible. Make sure you can do some of those connections with water. The way a salon we need water, power, and all that, so that
Very
you would allow that
critical.
flexibility for them to come and do what they want to do. Don't be too quick to go and finish the space, because most people with commercial finish it the way they want to finish it. So basically,
give them
we give that
balance,
leeway and give them a timeline to say, look, you should move between this time, since we're going to be closing out the store. So we have people already doing their ceiling works, their tiling works, and all of that stuff, while we just deal with the common area.
Now, finally, on Malvin Mall, do you see Malvin Mall as a one-off project or the beginning of a new commercial blueprint for Homework Group? Could this be the flagship of wider expansion across cities, or across cities and states across Nigeria? Because you've already honed, your household name when it comes to property development and housing, but this is big. This is your, I believe, your golden child when it comes to commercial.
Yeah. So just looking at this, I think the major thing we've seen is definitely is going to continue, and it'll probably be a brand that just goes through probably with a commercial real estate company on its own, and reason being that I've seen that is a bit different. It's lucrative, but definitely you have to think about location, and you have to start thinking about. I think what people should expect is more creativity in the choice of what we do as commercial, because you could do a beach house and it's a commercial, venture.
Or not
you could
necessarily
it's not necessarily
mall,
just the mall. Yeah,
yes.
so we could do a mall,
Lifestyle,
we could do
different
lifestyle,
things,
we could do a
hotels,
restaurant,
yeah.
we could do hotels. So I think that's what to expect, because I feel that people just want to see that uniqueness and creativity in what we do. The rooftop restaurants here are very nice. It's something that you really want to just go up there and just get the ambience and 360 view of VI, Ikoyi, and Lekki, and the way we've designed it was to ensure that you have those fenestrations, light coming in, but not too much of glare to lose power. You have central AC in the common areas. You also have some kind of the circulation is very good, because you have your muster points and how you have your back access, front access separated. Each floor has that sort of courtyard round circulation where you can exit and enter, in different at different parts of the building. And the whole idea is, again, a courtyard system where you allow the hot air to go up as quick as possible. So you have these extractor fans that try and draw the hot air out so that the AC stays cool and you use less power. So emergency lights and all that stuff.
A lot of attention.
So a
to
lot of
details.
attention to detail. A lot of push towards. I mean, it's different. You design differently with commercial, so a lot of looking at the functionality of it so that it stays durable for quite a while. It's not the same sort of design process you have with a regular residential building. The Alico bond itself is just a full all technology on its own, where you need to be careful with wind, you need to be careful with rain, leakages, all of that stuff. You need to just check out everything.
Apart from the aesthetic value that Alico bonding brings, what else does it do to?
So it's malleable. It's flexible. It allows you to do stuff with shapes. Yes, it might.
You don't have to paint. Right?
No, you don't have to paint. Maintenance is low. Yes, you can. Even for the maintenance of the glass and all that, there are new technologies now. We use drones to actually do the washing and all that. So that just makes it easier than trying to get a crane and then get people to just be there all the time. But the idea with Alico bond, that's why we have to be a bit creative with the Alico bond, because it's a bit cliche. A lot of people, the next thing you want to do is Alico bond. So we say, how can we use it so that it doesn't just look like your typical Alico bond style, and you're just trying to see if you can just cover up the walls and all that. So that's what we try to do with this.
This is very innovative.
Yeah, so it just has a sculpture kind of, trying to just make it
artsy,
look a lot different. So that's how we were able to come up with this, because it was supposed to give you a mall feel, an office feel at the same time, so that it just has that official sort of look. And at the same time, if you tell you a restaurant is here, you accept that a restaurant can be here. Hey, a spa is here, you can. They tell you that an office is here, you can. So at the end of the day, it gives you that sort of balance. As opposed to just having it look so office-like that it cannot accept any other thing but just an office.
Congratulations to you and the group.
And see what's going on. I mean, it's
really
what has
speaking
happened
of
with
that,
inflation and all, and what we've had to do to get this done. You need that breather to be able to start up again. But basically, we started our research on some of those things and looking for other locations to do it. We might be doing some smaller sort of markets, actual markets, right? But designed differently in more of the mainland areas, just to see how you could attend to your local commercial spaces, a new dimension of how a market can look like.
Fantastic.
A new dimension of how co-working space can look like.
I mean, the future
and all
must be
that.
very exciting for you in Nigeria, looking at all these projects that you're working on, and of course those that are coming in the future, and adding your footprint to the landscape in Lagos, and hopefully countrywide and continent-wise.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the Emerald. I call this vertical luxury with a view. It's one of my favorite homework projects. Not just it's so funny that the ones I like are the ones that are very very expensive. Talk about taste.
That shows that tells a lot about your taste.
Yeah. The suspended floor design is visually stunning. I mean, what were the structural and design challenges of executing the concept, and why did you go for it?
Okay, so the first issue we had with Emerald was we had a small site, that's above a plot, but the good thing about this is they allow you to go up, but they also give you conditions in which you must have to design different. You must think a lot deeper to be able to get your design done.
And this regulation is from
Lagos State.
okay.
Now the reason why they
For
allow
the location.
there are reasons behind it.
Okay.
So because of where it is and the amount the land goes for, they realize that once you're going to pile here, you're going to pile very deep, 36 meters, which is about 9 floors under the ground. That's a lot of piling. So once you do that and you spend that much money, you can't go and do 4 floors.
Exactly.
It's not going
It's
to
a
work.
waste of money.
So basically, they had to create an approval order for that area where you can go up as much as 6 floors, but they now give you conditions that can restrict you, because you have to have a setback of about 4.5 meters on the sides. And once you do that, that means if you want to get full
Setback
setback from the fence, not even the front. The front already
Yes.
has 9 meters, but the sides had 4.5 as opposed to the 3 meters you
So
typically have.
more restrictions.
Exactly. So if you do that, you now need to create from the first floor a cantilever outside the building that is more than your regular cantilever. And that now
Can you
created
break
a
that
structure.
down for regulars?
Okay,
like
so that
us?
means that when you get to the first floor, you're trying to hang out to get a better. You get more real estate on the upper floor.
Oh, I see.
So, and for you to do that, your typical stretch from the upper floor is 1.5 meters max, not max as per standard, max as per what a regular structural designer will want to keep it as. Because if he goes beyond that, then he has to use his brain and think, and that's where we came in to say, look, you have to make it happen. If we're going to have a 3 meters cantilever, it must happen. So we were able to have that cantilever and support it with some steel, and then ensure that we can have the real estate we're looking for going up. Because basically the whole ground floor is parking. It has some of the BQs, and it has the swimming pool at the back, the gym at the back, and basically we kept it like that so you have enough parking in that small land space. And then from the first floor you start to have the apartments, and it's just 2 apartments per floor, but it's a maisonette, so basically you have the ground, the upper and lower level of the floor, lift in the middle, going all the way up, and you do that going 6 floors. So basically the idea behind it was just to ensure that we maximize on this same cantilever to be able to get more real estate. Try and check out the views, because it almost has a 180-degree view of the water. It looks at Banana, and it sees the Lekki Ikoyi Bridge. He sees
From the
Banana,
side,
yes,
yes.
from one side, and then he sees Banana, and he goes over to see the other side of Banana where you have the waterfront. It is the back view that shows more of the back of Ikoyi. So basically, you are really truly facing the water 24/7, because that's 180 degrees all the way through.
Fantastic.
So
How
we
many
are-
maisonettes do you have?
So we have a total of 6 maisonettes, each of them 4-bed with a BQ. So basically, the whole idea is the masters, the living room. We just wanted to make sure they had that constant view of the water. In fact, you get to the 10th floor and you begin to see
So everybody has a water view.
Oh yes, everybody has a water view.
And the ground floor is parking anyway.
Yes,
so,
everybody has a water view. I mean, it gets better as you go up, of
course.
But most people have, from the front view, everybody's seeing the Lekki Ikoyi Bridge, the water there, and all of that. And then, the really nice part is from the 10th floor, where the kitchen is open plan into the living room. So from the kitchen, you even still get to see those views, and then you have floor to ceiling windows that you can get that full height, a full view of the entire thing you're looking at. So that's really one part that is really nice for most people to check out at the Pen floor.
Fantastic. Now, let's talk about luxury positioning. How do you define luxury in the context of the Nigerian real estate market, and how does Emerald embody that? Just ignore all the noise that you're hearing outside. I know
Yeah.
Homework Group is in a class of its
Yeah.
own, so when you say luxury, it's really, really luxury.
Yeah, so
You take it to
luxury.
the
I mean,
bank.
luxury for me starts from the location. The fact that the location already spits that already, and again, luxury is also relative for different people in terms of what they feel is luxury to them. You can be very simple, but yet the luxury is there. You could also be very opulent and showing all the, some people like the old ornaments and curved chairs and
Some people like sophisticated, elegance,
sophisticated. Yeah. So what we try to do is sit in the middle in terms of tiling and all of that. But we try to engage the clients from the beginning, so that if you know this is what you're looking at for your interior and all
your
that,
taste, yeah.
let's give you that in terms of what we are providing, so that you can plug and play.
it's bespoke,
So
bespoke,
that's the advantage of being architects. You can sit down with them and try and pick their brain and understand what they want, so that you don't get to waste money at the point of us trying to start the construction itself and the designs. And then once we bring interior designers in, or we do the interior ourselves, we kind of like know whether this is somebody that's looking for simplicity, this is somebody that's looking for, but generally you have to look at things like your equipment, Bosch fittings, for the kitchen, things like that, high ceilings, high 2.4 height window doors, floor to ceiling height windows. These are the little things, your chandeliers,
global best practices.
Yes, once you get, sometimes it's just the look and feel that you create from a steel staircases, glass. Kitchens have glass. Kitchens have all the appliances they need. A lot of things, concealed toilets, concealed showers.
Who standardizes luxury, or who teaches luxury? Because you're as good as you are what you know, and I mean your exposure and everything that you know has come into play. And I'm asking this question because of the abuse of the word luxury in Nigeria. You did mention Bosch, Miele, and things like that. How do you know what is luxury? And being expensive doesn't necessarily equate to luxury.
Yeah. So I think again, the thing of the mind, apart from the fact that you're trying to create what gives you that perception. So sometimes
because they don't teach taste, or do they teach taste?
No. Sometimes it's even just a perception, because you have the same walls in the house. The difference is that wall must be straight. It must be screeded properly. It's just that the way they tile, it might not even be the tile, but the way they tile is being done properly to precision. Because once people step in, it's like they see it immediately.
So details matter.
Yes, the external door. So you're not buying cheap stuff, because if you buy cheap stuff, the moment you see it, you're not buying cheap stuff, but there's also the money misroad type expensive, where you're like, oh, what's this in this house that looks like this? Why are you using this? So those are the kind of elements one needs to think about and understand that as much as possible, you might be buying things that are expensive, but it's the way you use it, the way you designed it, the way your flow is, so people can see that luxury. Yes, you have a view, for instance, and you're not using floor to ceiling height windows. That's part of it. You're not really maximizing that opulent luxury sort of. You have an opportunity to do a double volume space, or a double height space, or a very high headroom, and you don't use it, you make it short. Those are the things that actually spit luxury, and they give the potential for you to kill it, with that space. So yes, that's really where all of this happens.
I mean, it's great that we're having this conversation, so it naturally segues into my next question, which is about technology and amenities on the Emerald. The Emerald features high-end amenities like concierge services and and a pool, are there any innovations residents may not even notice but significantly enhance comfort and efficiency?
So I think it's pretty much your basic stuff that you have. The only difference is that we're trying to create security and still create that luxury for you. The swimming pool, for instance, we're planning it to be automatically covered when it's not in use, and that platform can be used for something else. So these are the kind of things that we didn't even that was not the plan in the beginning, but we just keep on trying to innovate and think outside the box. We had a very small space, we had to use it well. So whenever we tell them the size of the land, many people are like, oh, this doesn't look like that, and that's where everything starts from. But aside from that, I think is the mere size of what we've done, the mere all the things we've done with the heights and everything, it just gives them that feel. One major feature is that the living room and the dining is massive, like really massive. So whenever they walk in, and the moment you just open the front doors, you're just looking straight through the living room and you're having that view of the water directly. Fantastic. So what happens with that is that you just get that kick immediately as soon as you walk into that space, and you understand that, look, this is what, so people that have not seen the finishing, we're already putting that into place, and I'm sure by the time people see what that looks like, it also gives them that, kick too. But like I said, making maximum use of that view, making maximum use of the spaces that people look at to be high end, like the kitchen, the walk-in closets, the master bedroom, the living room. So the living room, like I said, very big. So it just gives you that feel of real opulence, and the fact that you can play around with maybe like 3 sets of furniture just to arrange it and create some kind of little den space for probably the men in the house. So that's just basically what we've been able to create there, so that there's no complaint about space, and and it obviously has a lift. So basically, as you hit each floor, it's easy to just circulate.
I mean, I like to save the money part for the last, because you need to understand the thinking process, the thought process, the work that went into putting something this magnificent from an idea into reality. How has the market responded so far? And when you do something so spectacular, I mean, what's stopping you from charging $5 million? Because I mean, you could back it up.
Yeah.
How has the market responded so far? Have you noticed demand from diaspora buyers or international investors? And has there been a shift in how Nigerians view luxury property in urban centers like Ikoyi?
So I think generally Ikoyi, you can't fail, because it's just, except you're just not doing the right thing, you can't fail in Ikoyi. So basically, it's like where everybody wants to be. There are too many people that want to be in that space.
It's like Manhattan.
Part time. So basically, you can't go wrong. Something like this, we've had 3 different sets of people at 3 different levels trying to buy, even when we finished.
And that's a good problem for you. But at what point do you decide? Okay, who are the people that sit down to decide? Okay, this is what's going to go for.
Oh yeah, in terms of price.
Yes, price.
No. So basically, they always allow the ideal thing is to allow the demand to push that.
Yes.
But most times, you actually just have some figures. The penthouse that you see right beside us there was sold for $2 million. And at the time they wanted to sell it, it wasn't that. You just had people fighting for it.
So it keeps.
Yes.
It means you might never arrive at a final.
It always goes
price,
up. There's no way the person buying this in 2 years' time will be selling for the same price.
But that's the beauty of
real
estate.
One of the units here we're hearing, even though we had the initial off-takers be very lucky, but we're having people come with more $1 million, and we're like, in fact, in some cases, even the landowner is like, no, they should increase it to $1.5 million. So basically, you once you've got into this part of value, you have that leeway to sort of benchmark against what's going on around.
True.
Most of the $1 million you're hearing is because even when dollar was less, it was going for $1 million around the area. But imagine $1 million as 250 million is not $1 billion 700 million. It's not $1 billion
It's
1.6 billion
true,
currently.
very true.
So basically, it might also be people trying to track and move with the way the dollar has moved. You know, yes,
Which is fair enough.
Yes, which is fair. I mean, you can't imagine what we spent here with the inflation and all, with the off plan guys. We have to tell them, look, you have to pay more money because, and they also know, because people are walking in to say, I'll give you 900 million, I'll give you 800 million. So sometimes it's even the way the people are pricing, and you won't stop the person that is pricing it to say, oh, stop at 900. I don't want more than this. You're not going to do that, you know. So basically, it and you know the whole Banana Island Road, Onikoyi. There's some kind of, once somebody builds beside you and he does something very opulent and he picks a price and somebody buys it, that person that has bought it has already just almost like created another price line. So it's almost like, it's either I do this or nothing. Some don't even take that time to go and check what is in there. For instance, this $2 million we're talking about is not the same as the pens we have. If I really wanted, if I wanted to be greedy, I could say, oh, it's the same thing, buy it at $2 million, but it's not the same thing. They took on the whole floor that took 2 units typically and used it to do 1 unit, and then also made it 2 floors, ground and first. So it's massive in terms of floor area and all that. So those are the things people should ask before you look at pricing and try to compare that say, oh, my neighbor did this. You know, it's very important to do that. I mean, when my landowner here was saying, yeah, we're going to sell this for that, I said, look, you need to compare oranges with oranges.
It doesn't work like
yes,
that,
but still at that, there's a standard for certain things, and it also just goes higher. So you have people that also speculate. If they buy it off plan, sell it higher. So for selling it higher, they just call their price, and that's what it is.
Final. I know I said that was the final question, but final. You have 2 projects. Would you say this is the most luxurious of projects that you've embarked on? Residential projects, because you still have the back-to-back opposite each other in Oniru.
Yeah.
You help me with the
Devon and Aquila 1.
Devon and Aquila 1.
Yes.
I mean, I'm looking. I would say based on location.
Yes.
This should be the most luxurious.
You're right.
Devon and Aquila 1.
You're right. So
they come really close,
yes,
location-wise.
So you're right. Because yes, we did Banana waterfront. Yes, it was a bit tough, but we did a Banana waterfront. But it was not this. It wasn't this high. Okay. And sometimes people call this banana. I don't. When I'm selling it, I don't say it's banana. I say what it is.
It's off Banana Island.
Yes, it's off Banana Island.
It's typically banana because you have the views. Yes. The banana people
also have. So yeah. So basically, this is. I would say currently, this is the most opulent. We are already working on some new projects that are facing Eco Atlantic. So basically, you might want to switch there, but it's just starting. So if you're talking about completed projects this year, yes, I agree with you.
And from a business point of view, is it easier to market? I mean, what makes life easier for you? Look at opulent projects or just mid-range?
So for money, it's the opulent projects. It's the mind and the tenacity to be able to take it through. If you do take it through and you build it well, you're going to make a lot of money. Yeah. But
you spend a lot of money and
make a lot of money. But in terms of value and your person and what you want, someone like me, I'm also trying to make sure I sort out everybody buying this from us already have houses.
True.
The ones that are buying the others from, so there are people that have not even gotten their first investment, and you can't even bring this near there. So I also have a soft spot for sort of those smaller amounts, going to Chevron, Shangotedo, all of that. Not because of anything, but I feel, yes, you're going to be selling to the opulent, but I mean, are you forgetting those young guys that are being able to afford certain things and some certain areas that are also making it happen? So maybe because I'm in the built environment and I'm not just a business person, there's also that soft spot for that. So in as much as I'm looking at this and I'm happy to deliver this, I'm also happy to deliver an Amon 4 that is in Chevron. I'm also happy to deliver a Sangotedo project to those guys. Just make sure that you maintain quality and standard through and through. Let it be something that within that area is the best around the area, or it looks good for that and it's standardized. So basically, that's what it is.
Fantastic. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you, Jide, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Definitely.
Very,
Hopefully, it will
very,
be
very
another
soon.
set. We've done 2
Yes.
now. I think Kingsman and Almond 4 deliveries. Looking like the next quarter will probably have welcomed another. By the time you're talking to me next week, we will have delivered another 2 or 3 projects. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers.